Hello, sir. How are you? Okay.
Fantastic.
Okay. Greetings. Olga did a simple company presentation, and she finished with the first part. And once she got to the slide about you and Frank, here you are. Olga has many guests, many prospects on this call, and they would like to know how you came about in cruises. How maybe you can remember that exact day, that exact emotion that you had on that day.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you to Olga. Thank you to our team. And thank you to our honored guests. Thank you for your trust. So I don't remember the exact moment, but I do remember what we were thinking. When we started the company back in 2015, we knew, Kaz, that to become a big, successful company, we had to have a narrow focus on solving a big problem that most people face and struggle with every day. And so the question that we asked is, what is a big problem that we can solve? And the problem is that most people, especially those from CIS countries, can't afford to take their families on vacation. And most families borrow money to take their family on vacation, meaning they pay for their vacations on credit cards or they take out loans. And so this is the feeling that Frank and I had, and it made us angry. It made us frustrated. We were shocked, as we looked around the world, and we wanted to do something about it. So that's the message that I would like for you to kindly translate, is that we wanted to solve a big problem. And I'll explain a few more words. So the big problem in our country, the big problem in the United States of America, is that the average family is in debt of about $38,000. $38,000. And that's not money, Kaz, to pay for a flat. That's not money to pay for a home. That's just for expenses. And the other thing that made us upset was we knew that, again, in the United States of America, that the average family, if they got an extra bill for $400, say the refrigerator broke down, or something to do with their children, most families in my country, in the United States, couldn't afford a surprise bill of $400. And we wanted to do something for this. We wanted to make it convenient for people to put their money away. We wanted to make it irresistible for people to go on vacations. And so we came up with this idea of a membership club so that people could pay for their vacation before they went on vacation. And this eliminates the stress, the anxiety of trying to pay for the vacation after they return and after they get home. I'll leave this with you. For me, it didn't make sense. It was like people, speeding, getting a speeding ticket, to go on a vacation. It just didn't make sense. It's like driving a car without stopping for gas. It just didn't make sense. And so I hope you understand where I'm coming from, is that we wanted to help people. We wanted to do something for the people in our country, and we also wanted to help people all over the world. So we wanted to do something for our families. We wanted to do something that was good for our family. Frank has 3 children. I have 4 children. And so we thought, well, what would be something that we would want to take advantage of? And so before we took $1 in, before we asked anybody, to pay their membership dues, we became members. Frank and I were the first members. I'm a member. I'm not membership free. I pay my membership dues every month. My daughter's a member, and my sons are members. My mom and dad are members. None of us are membership free. We don't have any special privileges. Frank's a member. His wife's a member. We wanted to do something that was good for our families, because we knew if it was good for our family, it would be good for other families. And then the last thing I'll just say is that, Frank has young children. He has 3 young boys, under the age of 7. Maybe they're your children's age, Kaz. My children are older. So 5 years ago, my youngest was going off to university. And so I had a lot of sadness. I had a lot of pain in my life because my whole life, for the last, 20, 30 years has been focused on, raising my children, being around for my children. And then I look around, and in English, we say I'm an empty nester. It's just Heather and I, and our children are no longer home. We have a cat, and that's it. Our children are all gone and grown. And so for me, it was a very sad time, a very painful time. And so we came up with this idea because Frank always does things with his family, and I wanted a way to bring my family back. I wanted a way to be able to go on vacation with my children as often as possible. And so that's what was going on when we were thinking about brainstorming for the idea.
Okay, so Olga remembers when she first joined in cruises, there was only 30 cruises in our database, and they were mostly based in the United States. They were embarking from the United States. And so the question is this: could you ever imagine, were CIS countries in one of the focus markets, or could you ever imagine there would be so many partners from a Russian region, CIS region?
Yet and yet, no and no. My partner Frank speaks Spanish. Our team speaks Spanish. I try to speak Spanish. I say I'm a gringo. I'm a gringo riqueño. I'm a white guy living in Puerto Rico. And but the answer is no. It wasn't. What we thought, because when you look at the cruise marketplace, Kaz, the largest cruise marketplace in the world is the United States. 20% of Americans have been on a cruise, which means that 80% have not. And we just thought, wow, if we can just, build our club and, just do really well here in the U.S., that we would have a fantastic business. And then, we discovered that, less than 2% of the rest of the world, have been on a cruise, and even a smaller percentage of the CIS countries. And they became our fastest growing team. And I'm so grateful. I'm so appreciative, of Arena Aronets and Olga Radichenko and our entire team, because they took us to a whole different level. And you maybe know my story. I met some colleagues from Kazakhstan in Moscow. Olga put on a fantastic event in Moscow. It was such a dream come true for me to visit Moscow for the first time. And I remember meeting Timur and other leaders that came from Kazakhstan, and they said, "Michael, would you please come to Kazakhstan?" And I said, "Of course." I said, "But I have one question. Where is Kazakhstan? Where do you live? Where is it?" And so at any rate, I embarrassed myself. I'll let you translate, Kaz.
Could you tell us the story? We know that Incruises is the company of destiny, and can you tell us that story when you called Frank and how that call changed your lives?
Yeah. Well, the good news is Frank and I had an experience together. He ran a business that was a social networking business. It was trying to be Facebook and LinkedIn just for entrepreneurs. It was very successful in the beginning. He attracted about 30,000 people in a very short period of time. And I introduced him to my friend. We have a television show in America called Shark Tank. Shark Tank is where entrepreneurs or would-be entrepreneurs make pitches to investors, and the investors decide if they want to invest or not. And so I had a working relationship with Frank, and we knew each other. But then he went his way and I went my way. And then when I had this idea about starting a new business. Frank also had similar ideas because, unfortunately, the business that he had, Noors, did not have a recurring. It had a upfront product. It didn't have a recurring product, and so we were brought together, and we ended up having lunch together. We were talking about this the other day. We had lunch at a restaurant in Coral Gables outside of Miami. The restaurant is called Hutchison's. We still remember it to this day. We still talk about it. Sitting down, and it was like we were, brought together, again by destiny, by the Holy Spirit, whatever you believe in, to bring this idea to bring forth all the experiences that we've had from the work that I did with Tony Robbins, to the work that he did with Primerica, and put this idea together. And so we always say that we were brought together by destiny, and we've been very blessed and very fortunate. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
1 minute, please. Sorry, 1 minute. I always say this phrase, and Olga has heard me say this, is that we're looking for others that are looking for us. We're looking for others that are looking for others, that are looking for us. We're looking for those that see what we see. Frank and I compared notes. I said, Frank, what was the biggest challenge in running Noors? And he said, oh my gosh, I'm doing finance, operations, technology, but then I'm also the spokesperson. I'm doing training. I'm doing leadership development. I'm spending all my time, doing everything for everyone. He said, well, what was the challenge you had? Because I started a finance, a business. I attempt to make a debit card commissionable. I said, you know what I really had a hard time with? I had a hard time dealing with all the merchant processors, the PayPals, the iPayouts, the PayQuickers, the Sabir Bank, all those banking relationships. I said, it just drove me crazy. He said, oh my gosh. He goes, let me take that on. You go do the leadership side of it. You go work with the team. You go work with the leaders. You do all the marketing. Let me handle the banks. Let me handle the merchant processors. And this way we get to do what we really want to do. And so, again, a company of destiny, we were looking for somebody that could help us. I was a solution for Frank, and he was a solution for me. Do you understand what I shared, Cass?
Yes, sir. Thank you. So there's a lot of rumors around Incruises and how you found it. And one of the rumors is this: when you first found, when you were first thinking about Incruises, you talked to your friends, your classmates, and everybody told you that this is not a great idea. Is that true?
Well, yeah. I mean, I called everybody. I called everybody and just said, listen, I just want to tell you what I'm thinking about. I'm going to build the world's largest cruise membership club, and most people said, great. Good for you. I'm busy. I'm doing other things. Other people just said, okay, great. But it was Frank who said, look, Hutch, anything that you're doing, I want to be a part of. I mean, those were his words. Anything that you're doing, I want to be a part of. And secondly, my family and I have been on 20, 25 cruises. We love to go on cruise vacations. And so his was, the most energetic. Again, he was the most receptive. And again, maybe, it was destiny that, just looking for that person. And again, that, was looking for me and saw that what I saw. And lots of people just said, okay, great, Michael, you've got lots of energy. I explained the idea to a former cruise line executive. And he said, Michael, the cruise lines will not work with you because they don't want to discount the product in public. And so your idea to discount cruises and to promote that publicly will never be accepted by the cruise line. You have to have a different idea, a different thought process. And so that's when we came back to him and said, how about this? How about we do it with a membership club? How about we do it with a password protected website? How about we don't promote the prices publicly, but we only make it available to members? And that's when this cruise line executive paused on the phone and he said, that's a good idea. And so your ideas aren't always going to be received by everybody. And the ideas that you have aren't always going to be good ones. But you have to spread the love, I say. You have to talk to enough people. You have to, in English, we say kiss enough frogs before you find your prince. And so that's what we did.
Sir, from the first day, Olga heard you say, this is your company. This is your company. And they were people that were actually shocked to hear it because they never heard a CEO saying that this is your company. So the question is this: how did you, when you first started the company, after you met Frank, after the idea came about, how did you attract your first partners, your first members? Where did they come from?
I had a database. Just people that had read my books in the past. People that I had trained in the past. And so we sent out a mailer to that database of people. Frank was restricted, because of his relationship with Primerica. He couldn't, cross promote, to use that word. He was restricted from doing so. So it's just a database of friends, families, contacts. Some people that we knew together through the Newers relationship. So we did what we tell our team to do. We just put together a list, and I think you'll find that everything that we have done at the company is not theoretical, Kaz. Everything that we've done in the company has been based on our experience and what we would do ourselves. And so that was it. No secret weapon there. We just put together emails out to, my list, my database of people, some people that Frank knew, and the rest is history.
And of course, your and Frank's authority, right? Because you are well known in the United States, and of course, a lot of people knew you personally, and they signed up because of you and Frank.
Correct.
Okay.
Sir, can you tell us a few secrets about the company, maybe about future plans, maybe what you and Frank are talking about right now?
Her ears must be burning. We say in English, we're always planning. We're always organizing our thoughts. No, I think you'll be very happy to hear that during this last many weeks, many months, we've been very hard working very hard. Number one, we've expanded our relationship with Trust My Travel. Trust My Travel, provides peace of mind, provides a guarantee that in the event that in cruises were not to be successful, in the unlikely event in cruises were to go out of business, you would get your money back that you paid, for membership payments. They had a rule that you had to have recurring billing. So you had to be invoiced. And so we've expanded our relationship. You'll hear an announcement about this in the next couple of days. I'm happy to share this with Olga as a secret, that you'll be able to register recurring billing with TMT and in cruises within 15 days of becoming a member. So you don't have to wait until that second billing. You can do it on your first invoice. So that's one secret. I think you'll be happy to hear this.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. I think that's really important because Trust My Travel, has a relationship with Barclays Bank. And so why would they expand the relationship within cruises? They are expanding their relationship within cruises because our business continues to grow. It's not growing as fast as it was back in January and February, but they see the strength of our business. They know we have a good business. They know we have a good management team. They know that we have low refunds. They know that we have low chargebacks. And so again, you have to ask the question, why would they do this? Well, they're certainly not doing this because they think we're going out of business. Just the opposite. They think that we're doing great, considering the situation. They want to do more business with us. I think that's very positive for our team.
You want to say something, sir?
Sure. I was just going to say, this time with the cruise lines, we've expanded our relationship with the cruise lines. One of the things that the teams have asked for is Michael, we would like to have a shorter time to book cruises. And so we understood that. We understood that from day one. But we also have the cruise lines that want their money as soon as possible. They want final payment as soon as possible. In fact, they want it, 90, 120 days out. Why? Because they're buying supplies, they're buying food, they're trying to make decisions. Do we buy, 10 dozen eggs for breakfast, or do we buy 100 dozen eggs for breakfast? How many people are we going to have? So, and then we are managing paying 2-for-1 cruise dollars. And so we followed the cruise lines, what we required to be able to book out 60 days or 90 days out. But I'm happy to share with Olga and her team the secret that starting on Wednesday, July 1st, you can book a cruise that's less than 60 days, 30 days out. And you can book a cruise that's more than 7 nights, only 60 days out. So we've reduced that. And I think this is a very good sign that, again, we listen. We try and do the best we can, but we have a bigger perspective. We have so many, needs and wants that we're trying to deal with everybody. But I think this is a very, very good opportunity for our members to book cruises. I think the next 3 months is a good time to get really good prices. I do think in 2021, prices are going to go up because the cruise lines have not made any money. Kaz, they've not made any money. They've got to figure out a way to make money with less cruises and less people on the cruises. And so for the next 90 days, July, August, September, we're going to reduce the time to book a cruise, okay? Last secret. Sorry. The last secret is I'm not happy with what's happened with our team with Payoneer. I'm not happy about this. It's no secret. Frank and I are not happy about it. I feel very bad for our partners. This should not happen. This is your money. It has nothing to do with cruises. And so Frank and I made a decision with Anthony Vivaro that we're going to build our own payment processor. We're building our own. It's called Ocean Wallet. And you saw this situation with Payoneer, which gives us even more fuel to build it. Frank and I went on a walk last night. We're together here in Puerto Rico, and we talked about it. We talked about prioritizing, putting more resources. I want to get it out sooner. And so, again, no secret. We're going to compete with Payoneer. We're going to compete with Pay Quicker. We're going to compete with iPayout. They are our partners, but we're going to compete with them. I think we can do a better job.
Sir, I know you're busy, so we're gonna. I have to ask this question. I know we don't have much time, but I have to ask this question. We all know that you've been working with Tony Robbins for a long time, and we would like to know about your relationship, maybe current relationship with Tony Robbins, and the experience that you've gained working with Tony Robbins, and how it helped you building and cruises.
Sure. Well, so I worked with him when I was 25 years old. He's a year older than I am. So it was a very close relationship. I was lucky to work with him for 8 years. And then I left. And when I left his business, it was like leaving family, because, you work very hard. I consider Olga as part of our family. Imagine, if Olga were to leave, I would be really sad because, it's like family. And I think that was the relationship, is that I helped Tony a lot and he helped me a lot. And but we keep up with each other. I talked to him a lot when COVID first started. I wanted to hear his perspective. I wanted to hear his thoughts. And Tony's first got started in health. Many people don't know this, but before he did leadership events, before he promoted himself, he promoted a couple by the name of Harvey and Marilyn Diamond. They wrote about health, and so he's very much into health, and so he's always been an inspiration and example for me in terms of health. And so many people don't know this about him. He's very big into health, and again, he did health seminars before he did anything else. And so we just keep each other aware of how our families are doing. He has a home in Florida. I have a home in Florida, but that was it. I contacted him, talked to him 2-3 times, when the COVID quarantine first started. And so I just wanted to hear his perspective. And so he's always been an inspiration for me. At the same time, I will say that I always wanted to figure out a way to have a business that created more impact than the impact that we had when we were together. And maybe it's like a sibling rivalry. Do you understand that term, Kaz?
Yes,
a
sir.
sibling, yeah. So that's the way it is for me. Is he's at his level, and he's helping a lot of people, and I have in cruises. But this much I know is that in cruises has helped more people make more money than I believe than Tony Robbins' company has. Again, it's just sibling rivalry. It's healthy. It's a healthy competition, right? We're trying to help people. There's nothing negative with what I just shared, but I have a sense of pride knowing that we in cruises have helped more people in our first 4 years, going on 5 years, than I did in 8 years with Tony Robbins. Did you understand that?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for coming to our webinar. We are going to continue. I'm glad that our partners, our guests, our prospects had a chance to meet you. They had a chance to meet the founding father of In Cruises company. And thank you for your energy. Thank you for everything you're doing for us. Would you like to say something to our guests? Maybe some wishes?
Sure. Спасибо большое. Спасибо всем. На суdet большое будущее.
На все большое будущее. Спасибо, Майкл.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Пока-пока. Bye-bye.
Да, спасибо.
Bye-bye, sir. Have a